Hey YouTube, this is Trish. I'm coming at you with a beef stir fry. I know I have a chicken stir fry on my channel, so I wanted to tell you how I marinated the meat. Honey, soy sauce, the Kikuman stir fry original sauce, some minced garlic, and some pepper. Because this stuff, the soy sauce and the stir fry sauce is a little salty, so that's why I don't add any extra salt to it. But that's what I did, and then I marinated it overnight. So that's why I wanted to show you what I did to marinate the meat. It's all been marinating overnight. I probably should have showed you how much of everything, but I'll put it in the description below of how much of everything I did. But I'm going to leave the soy sauce out because I'm making fried rice, which I'll show you how I do that, because I didn't do that in the last video. And I use a wooden spoon, so I'm gonna have to raise it up because I'm gonna use my wok. But there's the beef and all that stuff. Then here's my wok. I'm gonna raise you up a little bit more so you can see inside the wok. Let me put some light on the subject. Okay, and then a little bit hot. That's the only thing about the wok, is it gets hot real fast. Okay. And I put a little bit of olive oil. When you do cooking in the wok, you should use olive oil or peanut oil or whatever. Let me get a pot holder. Yeah. Gets a little hot. So just stir it around. Of course, don't fling it all over the place. Now I can turn that back up, but it was a little bit hot to start with, so now I can turn it back up. Because you don't want to cook the meat too slowly, but you don't want to cook it too fast either. And if it looks a little bit on the dry side, you can add some more sauce to it, but you'll be adding more of that stir fry sauce when you add your vegetables too. So behind there is my brown rice. I'm doing it with brown rice this time. And then the pan next to it I have for the scrambled egg, because I do it all separate when the rice was ready. So I don't make it all at the same, because you have to cook the brown rice, even if you were to use jasmine rice or white rice, which jasmine rice and white rice are pretty much the same thing. One's just a long grain. Jasmine is long grain. White rice is short little grains of rice. So there is a few little differences with rice, but we like brown rice now in this house. So okay, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more. I want it to get nice and cooked and delicious. Okay, and I have the timer on the rice because it has to be checked. And of course I've got water to keep me hydrated. And then when you do the Chinese fried rice, you put peas and carrots and then a scrambled egg in it with a little bit, about a tablespoon of soy sauce. Don't put any more than that unless you like it salty. I'm not a salty gal. I probably should be, but I'm not. So I'm going to move you a little bit closer to the situation at hand, so you can hear the sizzling of the meat. Smells pretty good. It's barely started cooking, so of course it's not going to have too much of a fragrant aroma quite yet, because you could tell that it's barely starting to turn. Right now. So, oh, that's what I gotta do is get a little bowl. To make my scrambled egg in. It's multitasking, of course, but it's all right. But this meal should be about a 30 to 45-minute meal. What takes the longest is the fried rice, only because I'm using brown rice. Brown rice is actually a slow cook rice, so just follow the directions on the back of your brown rice packet. Get your rice completely done, and then fry it. It's a little bit complicated at first. Like when I first started doing brown rice, it was a little bit complicated for me because I was so used to the jasmine rice and white rice that it cooked really quick. So I had to do some adjustments to what I was doing. But I want to make sure this meat is nice and delicious. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little bit of a smell. And of course, my wok is the one that goes, you can put it directly on the burner, but I never do. I put it on the little stand, which I'll show you. See, there's the stand that goes onto the stove, so you know that it's not on direct flame. A lot of people will do direct flame, but I'm still not comfortable enough to do direct flame like that. But all that juice that's in there is the seasonings that I put in it to marinate and the juice from the meat. So you have to kind of cook some of that out. Even though I'm going to be putting more sauce in when I put the vegetables, because it has to sit and cook the vegetables out. And you don't want to do that and just be nothing but water. Because your vegetables, I mean, you can pre-cook your vegetables, but I just throw them in. It's a personal choice. You can microwave them and then throw them in there. Or you can just throw them in with the sauce and get it all married and happy together, and has a little bubbling party all on its own. Okay, so the meat looks like it's pretty much there. So we'll open the vegetables. But see how much sauce and juice and stuff there is. We'll be cooking some of that out though, once I put the vegetables in and a little bit more sauce. Of course, not soy sauce, the stir fry sauce. Okay, and then there's all the vegetables, and it's sugar snap peas stir fry from Walmart. Of course, I buy all my stuff from Walmart pretty much. I'll occasionally go to a different store, but predominantly. Oh, and that's one thing I will say. This has chestnuts, water chestnuts, It's typically not one of my favorites. And see, I eyeball it. It's probably about a half a cup more of sauce on top of the vegetables. Okay. It's your choice. If you only want to put like a third or fourth cup or half a cup of your sauce more, because it's already got sauce in it. And then you put the lid on it and stir everything around. And then you put your lid on and you turn it down. And the vegetables will get soft and everything will marry all together and everything. It'll look real good. And this has the bean sprouts, water chestnuts, broccoli, red bell pepper, the sugar snow peas, and squash, yellow squash. I was trying to remember what that other thing was, sorry. Sometimes I forget the name of things. And I already threw the back out. Oh, and there's some carrots in there too, sorry. So, sometimes I forget what's in stuff. It looks good to me, so I buy it. Okay, so then I'm going to turn this down a little bit because I don't want it to burn when I put the lid on. Okay. Move my rice back just a little bit. Move this back a little bit. There we go. And then I'll put the lid on. And then keep an eye on it for about 10-15 minutes or so. I'm going to check on my rice. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. Yeah, it's doing its thing. Okay. So the rice is still going. Yeah, another 15 more minutes on the rice. But I can do the scrambled eggs and drain off the peas and carrots. So it's not that long or processed out. It's just the rice is what takes for a long time. And some people may not agree with. I cook my egg in butter, margarine, whatever. Whatever you have on hand. Then we'll move over to the other pan where I'm going to scramble up the egg. And it's only one egg, so you're only going to scramble up one egg, but try to make it really fluffy with some milk, or if you're don't really like milk, you can use almond milk or whatever you choose to put in your eggs. But I will be putting some salt and pepper in the scrambled egg. Okay, so let's get that whisking up. Okay, and then we can move over to, don't mind my fire up there. I did that yesterday. I did those wings that I have on my TikTok. Okay, and then a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, eggs, milk, scramble them up, pour them in there, And then I just let them kind of sit there and do their little thing. I don't try to mess with it too much. For a little bit, I get a little plate. To put it on when it's done. But I'm gonna drain off my peas and my carrots. Because you don't want that water in your fried rice. And see how it's starting to bubble up a little bit? Now you work it a little bit. Because you want them to be nice and fluffy. Most people know how to make scrambled eggs, but what you're looking for is a lot of little pieces of egg. That's why I use a whisk. If I was just making breakfast, I'd use a regular spoon. But because I'm trying to get it all nice and fluffy for stir fry, you want it to be more loose per se. Okay. And you want to make sure you cook out all that milk. Because see, if you notice, there's still milk coming out. And you want to cook most of that out. Because when you go to do your rice, okay, now we can shut this off. Put it on a little plate. Then we'll move back over here. Check on this. It's looking mighty delicious. Okay, I'll put that over there for now. But I know it's not done because we just barely put these vegetables in and stuff, and vegetables and stuff usually take a little bit to cook. And like I said, we're not trying to cook all the juice out, just some of the juice. Because you want some of that juice to mix with your rice if you want it that way. If you don't, and you just want it on the side, have it on the side. So, there's that. Okay, we're still waiting on that. Let's check on this rice. It should be pretty done. Let me double check on the timer. It still says 7 minutes, so we'll see about that. Because sometimes rice has a mind of its own. Okay, so let's take the rice over there because that's just getting all married and happy together. So let's check on this rice. Looking pretty good. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's still a little bit watery and there's still about 5-10 minutes left on it, so you got to make sure you cook all that water out. Well, it steams out actually, it doesn't cook out. So let's get that clear, because that's the one thing that I did wrong the first time I made that rice, is I cooked it and cooked it and cooked it and almost burned the bottom of it because I had the pile on. According to the directions, you're supposed to cook it, bring it to a rolling boil, turn it off, and let it sit for 35 to 45 minutes till it's fluffy. and light in the pan. So let me get a drink real quick. And we'll check on this. I could turn this up a little bit more. I have it kind of low. Usually I cook it low and slow, but I think it needs to get turned up a little bit. Yeah, 5 more minutes on the rice. I think I am going to turn it on just so that I make sure I get all that water out. Because for some reason I might have put a little bit too much water. I usually follow the directions real good, but I don't know. And when you're making fried rice, what makes it fried rice is you're actually going to take it when it's completely dry, no water or anything like that. You're going to put a little bit of olive peanut oil, which I don't have any peanut oil, I have olive oil, so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil, stir it up, let it fry up a little bit, put the egg and the peas and carrots in it, and stir it up and stir it up and stir it up, and that's how it's fried rice. Because I thought it was a lot more complicated than that, and it wasn't. It's just sometimes things can get overwhelming and you think that it's more complicated than it is, and it's not. So I'm going to get another drink while all that stuff is cooking away. So let's check on it. Okay, cool. The water is boiling. Yeah, and it's getting a little bit more fluffy and fluffy and fluffy. Okay. Yeah, because that's what you're trying to avoid, is to have mushy rice. So that's why I keep an eye on it when I have the flame on. Normally I don't have the flame on. I'll just wait the time out. But because I want you guys to see that this meal can be done in 30 to 45 minutes. That's why I put it back on. Okay. But I'll put all the stuff in the description below on how much I used, because it's a pound and a half of meat that was marinated overnight. But I'll put everything in the description below on the amounts of what I put in it. Then you saw how I cooked it, and then I put about a half a cup more of the stir-fry sauce. Okay, so I'm gonna check on this again. Ooh, it's looking mighty delicious. I'm going to put the lid back on it, let it go for just a little bit longer. turn it back off again. That's doing real nice. And we'll be back because that rice has to finish at 7 minutes, and I don't think you want to sit here and watch rice for the next 7 minutes. And this I'm going to go ahead and let go for the 7 minutes also. Okay, it hasn't probably been about 7 minutes, but all the water is out. I knew that turning on that stove would help. Okay, and this is what you do. Okay, like I said, I use olive oil. Turn on the fire to about medium. A little bit. And you should hear it starting to crisp up a little bit because of the oil. Okay, and this is going to be turned into fried rice in a couple minutes. Okay, then we can put, see, can you hear it? Put the egg in there. And then put your peas and carrots in there. I just use a can. You could buy frozen if you want. You don't have to. And then the last thing, and like I said, this is to taste. It's your choice how much you put in there, but I'm only going to put 1 tablespoon. And you can hear the sizzle. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, because I don't like mine super salty. That's all. Okay, and stir it around. And you can hear it all sizzling up. And it always makes really good leftovers too, okay? So that's the kind of consistency you're looking for. And then you just turn it off. And there's your fried rice. Of course, most people like lay it on a cookie sheet and dry it out. But I don't have the time for that because I'm trying to get dinner done and show you guys that meals don't have to be complicated to be good. Okay, and we'll have a little taste test together. But as you guys know, I always serve up my husband first because that's just the way I was raised. Okay, I understand that. Not everybody understands that, but it's a personal thing for me. Okay, let me get things out of the way that we don't need anymore. This could go in the sink. I'll do up the dishes when I'm done. Let's take this lid off. Ooh. Okay, that should be done. So you can see what it looks like now. See how it gets all like married and happy together and some of the sauce comes out of it? If you like it a little bit saucy like I do, like half of the sauce cooked out, but not all of it, okay? And you'll see what I mean. See? Like, compared to how much sauce was in there, a lot of the sauce cooked out. Which is totally fine. Okay? Let me get this stuff out of the way. Oh, on the side of the refrigerator. You can tell that I don't use soy sauce very often. So, it's a little bit tricky for me. And what I'll do is I'll use, and then I'll show you how I serve it up, okay? Let me bring you down a little bit. Okay? And I'll show you how I serve it up, okay? slide it over to the edge, put some and then I'll put some of the sauce right on top of this. Okay. With the other spoon. Because I don't want it to be sauceless. I want it to have a little bit of sauce, but not like overkill sauce, okay? Sauce is to your liking, guys. Like I say, it's how you like it, okay? If you like your stir fry really saucy, then leave all that sauce in there. But for me, it's almost like 50-50 kind of situation. And then here's the rice. And because it's still kind of a little bit on the hot side, see, that's why a lot of people put it on a cookie sheet and let it steam out. And then that's it right there. And we'll be back to have a taste test.